Okay. And we are ready to go.
Cabo.
Alafia. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of
Let's Talk IFA,
the greatest
podcast
on the planet. I am Awo Ifa Jaminire.
And I am Awo Ifa Tegunshe.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk IFA.
Yes.
We give thanks and praise to Olodumare. Ifa Bawashe, Edumare Bawashe, Awan Lashiku Bawashe. Ifa will make a way for us. Olodumare will make a way for us. Our ancestors will make a way for us. Ashewa. What are we talking about today, my brother?
Wow. I think it's something that everybody wants to know, especially the new people, as they say, the new people coming into Orisha,
the neophytes, the newer
Yoruba culture
people
and spirituality. People want to know, how do you form a relationship with Orisha?
Mm-hmm. How do you form a relationship or create a relationship with your Orisha to include your ancestors? You know, some people have a hard time with that, whether you're new or you've been in the culture for a little while. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people can benefit from this topic that we're going to discuss today. We're going to drop some jewels because, you know, you want to maximize your shrines and what you have at home with your Orisha, your ancestor shrine, whatever shrine it is that you have. Mm-hmm. You know, you went through the trouble to receive it. You paid your money. You did what you had to do. You might have had to travel or whatever. So now you have your, whatever your shrine is, whatever Orisha that you received, whether it's Egungun, whatever. And you're home now, you got your shrine, you got to, set up, and you trying to figure out, what do I do? Like, you may understand the mechanics. You might have a prayer that your teacher gave you, and you might have a routine that you go through. But some people are very robotic and very, robotic and what's the word of mundane. It becomes mundane because you don't have that deeper connection or that deeper understanding with what you're doing.
I say the first thing you have to have a relationship with is your Ori.
I say
you have to understand your Ori, because if you don't understand your Ori, or you don't have a connection to your inner higher
to yourself
self, then you can't even connect to your ancestors properly. You can't even connect to the Orisha you may have. And this goes for those who are coming into Yoruba culture and spirituality, and those who are devotees already.
Benny.
Like, you have to make a connection with your Ori first. And I know people are wondering, like, well, how do you make a connection with your Ori? How do you do that? Where do you start to make a connection with your Ori? So, you want to kind of speak on that, and then I'll speak on it myself. Because there's a lot of ways to connect with your Ori. I tell people, like, if I do Dafa and the Odus come up and it's talking about Ori, if you don't have the Ile Ori shrine, then you can hold
which most people don't.
Could put both of your hands on your head and pray to yourself before you talk to anybody in your household. Talk to your inner self, your inner being first. And then after you do that and your head is clear and you're open, because you do feel a little different after you do that. Mm-hmm. Then you can speak to everybody in your house and then approach your shrines, once you've done that. But it all starts with Ori. When you wake up, that's the first thing you should do.
Ashe. And to add to that, from what we see, a lot of people get caught up in the ritual aspect of it. The magic, the ritual aspect of it. And that's cool, but it doesn't take the place of just hard work, just working on yourself.
Everybody want to be a priest.
Everybody, want to be a priest or...
Everybody want to learn the magic aspect of it. Ouch.
There's nothing that takes the place of doing the work on yourself first, so that, like we said, you can connect with your ancestors and your Orisha and whatever else you're trying to connect to. You have to understand who you are, why you're here. You have to have self-love. You have to have self-confidence. You have to have knowledge of self. You have to get yourself. That's Ori work, shadow work, Ori work. After you hold your Ori and pray and you do the rituals or whatever, go somewhere and sit down where it's quiet and meditate.
Yeah.
Just get into yourself. Understand who you are.
When you living in a society where everything is fast, and you got to wake up in the morning,
no quiet time,
or you got this alarm that ding, and it disturbs you, and you got to jump up because you got to get ready for work.
Yeah,
you got to go run, jump in the shower because you're on the time. You can only take a 5-minute this. You got to check your clothes. Like everything is rush. And then if you don't eat, what do they do in the United States when you got to get to work? You go stop by Burger King or McDonald's, grab something quick. Everything is quick.
Everything is quick.
So how do
our demise.
Right. And so, I always tell people, they say, well, Baba, I can't pray to my Ori at that time because I got work and I got to get up and get ready to work. And, when you're on your way to work, you don't have to sit in your bed or go to the little space in your house to pray to your Ori. You can pray to your Ori on your way to work. You can pray to your Ori when you at work. Just find a little corner. And
just all you need is a minute or two.
And do that. So there's no excuse. All you need. There's no excuse. So the next thing is, after you appease your Orisha, after you appease your Ori, then appease your ancestors. Because your ancestors is your stability. They hold you together. And see, you doing all of this is because when you go out into the world, you have your head is clear and you have foundation.
Ashe. It's better to do those things early in the morning because to set the tone for your day. Step one in creating a relationship with your Orisha, or ancestors or whatever, is to make sure that you have a good relationship with yourself first. With your inner self. Do your Ori work, do your prayers, do your rituals, do your shadow work, do all those things to help clear the clutter and clear the way for you to have a strong connection and an alignment with your shrines, right? So now we on to Egungun. We're talking about ancestors now because that's the closest thing to us other than our Ori, other than our inner spirit. The ancestors is the next closest thing to us. So how do you develop a good relationship with your ancestors? Well, the more you learn about your family history and your family lineage, the more you learn about yourself. That's the simplest way to venerate and honor your ancestors, is just learn about them. Understand, learn about who they were.
Remember who they were. Because it's not about just going to the shrine and putting food there all the time, or just putting water, or just throwing some obi, or putting some palm oil there.
Going through the motions.
Honey. Right. Like, ancestor veneration is remembering your great-great-grandmother or your grandmother who may have transitioned, or your grandfather that may have transitioned. Remembering what they've done for you when they were on this side.
Yep.
Like remembering those times and those loving times, you know, is a form of establishing a close relationship with ancestors.
I say.
You know, as you said, the history, all of the things that they taught you. You know, even the times when they had to punish you, and now you realize why they had to punish you. You know, all of those things are a form of ancestor veneration.
I say.
You know, and that brings the ancestors close to you. That's how you create a better relationship with your ancestors. And then, of course, you know, knowing, you know, even this with the Orishas, establishing a close relationship with the Orishas is first knowing how to spell Orisha. But
you might want to learn how to spell whatever Orisha you got.
Right. Because I've heard some people say...
We're being funny, but we're being serious too.
Because some people say Babalawo instead of Babaluaye. Or they'll say Babaluaye, and it's like, and they're really trying to say Babalawo.
Right.
But, you know, learn how to spell your
Let's
Orisha.
get the language together.
Thank you.
Let's learn how to spell them and pronounce them. That's now, pretty important.
Now, back to what I was saying.
To the ancestors, yeah.
The ancestors and the Orisha, knowing their proper days to appease them and to talk to them and to, you know, make appeasement to them. Those special days are those power days of that particular Orisha and the ancestors. The ancestors is more like on Thursday. It's a good day to honor the ancestors, because they say the ancestors are more closer to the household on a Thursday. So Thursday is a good day to, you know, do those either rituals or just go in and talk to your ancestors. You know, and whatever Orisha falls on those days as well. Those are the days you should commune with those Orishas as well.
So, yeah, we have the traditional Orisha calendar that most people follow or have. If you don't have it, let us know. We can send you one, but Obatala days are great to connect with your ancestors.
Sure.
Of course, you can go to your ancestors on any day, but that's one of the most powerful days you can deal with your ancestors, because it's all about, you don't want to swim against the current. You see what's been happening. All these 8 people drowned recently in Florida in the last 2 weeks because they're getting pulled up by the riptide and they're trying to swim against it. You have to swim to the side. You gotta. So you want to, in life, we want to swim with the current, not against it. We want to go with the wind, not against the wind. So, because that, you know, we want to minimize friction and issues and problems. So when you use the Orisha calendar the right way, when you learn how to use it, just in operating in your basic operation of your day, you learn how to swim with the current. It's, you know, it brings blessings easier. It makes you have a better day. You're in harmony and you're synchronized with the energy of the universe. When you pay attention to the days and you move
not go against
and not go against it. So we're gonna do a whole nother show just on the calendar, the Orisha IFA calendar, how to use it and stuff like that. So we just are touching on that now, but to go back to the earlier point.
I like the way you put that, though. I like the way you said, don't swim against the current. You know what I mean? That was beautifully put, because I'm envisioning that when you're saying that, it's like when you're swimming against the current, that's when you're going to
make it 3 times harder.
It makes it 3 times harder.
Yeah.
You going
you know, if it's a Batala day, don't wear black.
Right.
I'm just giving a little example now. Like I said, we're going to do a whole nother podcast on this, but if you know it's a Batala day, try to wear white or light colors, you know? So there's certain things you do on certain days, you kind of, how you move, and that's going to help your day.
And that's making you a better connecting with that Orisha as well. When you wear the colors of that Orisha on that day, that helps you to connect with that Orisha.
Obeying some of the taboos, and it's just certain things you can do or not do on those days to help. And when you have a better day, you have a better week. And you have a better week, you have a better month. You have a better month, you have a better year. You have a better year, you have a better life. You know?
So study these Orishas and their, You know, a lot of people like to get real deep, but you know, study the basics, because the basics of those Orisha kind of gives you the foundation. Benny. It's like once you know, Obatala's day, don't get drunk.
I say.
On Obatala's
especially
day.
On that day.
Don't get high and blow your mind out.
Wrong day to do that.
You know, that's a wrong day to do that. You know, on Ogun's day, don't do the same thing, because you can get violent and wild and out of character.
I say.
So all of those things, those basic things, are very important.
It's important. And going back to the ancestor, for some people that don't know any of their ancestors, let's address that real quick, because I run into a lot of people who really don't know.
So do I.
Any of their ancestors. If you didn't know them at all, try to talk to family members or do as much research as you can on them. Maybe you can find something that they had that was in their possession. You can put it on their shrine. You can connect to them that way. Or just based on whatever information you can gather on them, take their names. Maybe you can get their pictures or whatever. You can set up your altar and you can just meditate in front of it. You can just say before your prayers, after your prayers, and just commune in that space with that energy. Invoke your ancestors, give thanks to your Mojuba, whatever, say your prayers, and just sit there in silence for a few minutes and just meditate and just feel and try to connect with that energy. If you didn't know them, right? So that's another thing that you can do.
And another thing you can do is, if you don't know the ancestors on your mother's side or your father's side or whatever side, you can say Iba, Awon, Egungun, Idile, Baba Mi, or Iba, Awon, Egungun, Idile, Yeye Mi. And that covers it all.
Yeah. I pay homage to all the men and the women of my family lineage from my mother's and father's side. So just say it, just invoke them, just pray. And you can, just like I said, just meditate in front of your shrine be in that energy. They will start to connect with you one way or the other. Everybody's different. Some people are more prone to having dreams. Some people, you might have a stranger come up to you and be saying something to you that's,
people get goosebumps.
You feel it, you'll get goosebumps, or a little child might say something to you, or it could be a commercial or something could come on TV, but when that message is speaking directly to you versus if it's not, so there are definitely ways, whether you know your ancestors or not, but that's one way to connect with these energies, Egungun, Orisha, or whatever, is to just be still and meditate in front of the shrine. Hold your elements.
And focus, and focus on that Orisha and the energy that it has.
Learn how to spell it. And focus on it.
And focus. It's not all about, because a lot of people come into this and they want to, like we said earlier, they want to know the magic, either because they want to protect themselves, and that's understood, because that's one way. And another reason. I've been doing this for a long time, and I done met a lot of people come into this for various reasons. Some people want to come into this to learn it, to get back at somebody.
Correct.
And that's not the way.
I think that's another episode we'll have to do 10 of the top reasons that you should not get into the culture. For the wrong reasons. That's another show. We do a whole show on that.
Right. Because it's a lot of reasons why, but you actually connect and establish a good relationship with Orisha, for one, for your personal growth and development. And for your family's development. And so that you can pass it on to the next generation. These are traditional practices. Keep it in the family now. Yeah. Right? These are traditional practices that we're talking about when we're talking about appeasing Orishas on certain days and establishing a good relationship. Because it's not all just about, I gotta go give Eshu, because some people, they go give Eshu palm oil every single day. And you don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to.
You can just go and greet them, but it's not just about giving something or some food. We know that's energy and it's an exchange. Right? But sometimes just prayer is a form of appeasement.
Your intention.
When
you pray. Your sincerity.
In your mind and your heart.
Your mind and your heart. You can go and be in there for an hour and dump a whole bottle of palm oil on that shoe.
And your intentions ain't right.
But if your intentions ain't right, if your heart ain't right, if your character is not right, if those things aren't right, you just basically wasted an hour of your day, because it's just like the rich guy or the dope dealer guy that can just keep, he got a lot of girls and he just buy them stuff, but he don't really know them. He don't spend time with them. He don't talk to them.
Right. He just
buy them another bag to shut them up.
Right.
That's what some people doing with their ancestors and their Orisha and their shrines at home. They going through the motions and they doing this and they doing that, but you get out of it what you put into it. And some people are not putting in the right things.
Yeah,
and you get the result that you get.
Right, because some people, they embrace Orisha with one hand, but they don't embrace with both hands.
And that's
so when you get key. When you go and you give your Orisha something and you throw the obi and you get Okaran. And you trying to figure out, dang, I just poured a whole bottle of palm oil on this shoe and he gave me Okaran.
One of the questions you might want to ask, am I embracing you with one hand?
Right.
Are you embracing me with one hand? Like, is it something that I'm not doing
exactly.
To why you're not embracing me fully? Or what's
your heart ain't
part
into
of the communication. Your
heart ain't into it.
Yeah.
You just saying stuff.
You just saying stuff.
A lot of
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Even with when you got these hot boys coming to get work done to cover up some stuff,
Benny.
Or to get off of something, and you throw the obi and they get Okaran. They just coming because they in trouble.
They just coming
That's the only time they come is when they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But do you really understand Orisha? Yeah. Do you understand these Orisha? Do you understand these ancestors? Because they gonna tell you if you don't. You can you can do a goat, all kind of stuff. And you get Okaran.
Yeah.
And you like, what's going on? Well, there's a blockage.
Yeah.
Well, why is it a blockage? Because your heart ain't
because you halfway here.
You just doing this
to get out of trouble.
To get out of trouble.
Yeah. And you get, you might get helped out, but there's a limit to that.
And you making a pack.
No, I didn't talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that? Not yet.
It's microwave. Everything is fast, instant. Nobody want to make no packs.
Brother said, don't talk about that.
They want to go sell them packs.
They want to sell them packs.
They want to make the packs.
They don't want to make the
packs.
Want to sell the packs.
Look.
But it's not about that, y'all. It's really not. Like, you really got to have your heart into it. Because some days, I'm not going to, me personally, the other day, I went and I did my Iwure and, gave that shoe some Omi and some Epa, and I threw and I got Okaran. And I was like, oh, wow, like, what am I doing that's off? But I know I had a lot on my mind, and I wasn't.
You was probably halfway there.
I was halfway there, because I wasn't filling up to par, and I was like, okay, so I had to, wash my head and all of this kind of stuff to kind of.
Because Okaran is also saying, be cool.
Yeah, be cool.
You know what I'm saying? Come, be cool. But you got to continue to throw to get the message to see what they're trying to say. It's interesting. So back to the how, right? How do you establish that relationship with your Orisha? So another way, or some of the other ways that you do that is you got to do a little research. You want to read.
Wisdom.
Check some books, some good books that your teacher recommends or that somebody recommends.
Can you say that again,
so you
Joe?
Can read up. You have to read some good books that your teacher or your guide recommends. Don't just go out here on Google because you will get confused, or just buy any book because it's a lot going on out here, but try to be guided on the information that you're digesting, at least in the beginning. So you got to read up a little bit, learn about the ancestors, learn about the Orisha, learn about the origin of it, learn about how to spell it, learn about, read their Oriki so you can find out about their characteristics and, what they like and don't like, and their power and their, how to work with them and just different things like that. Learn about, read, watch videos, go to places. You have to study, become a student of the ancestors or of that particular Orisha, whatever it is that you have that you're trying to establish that relationship with. You have to be knowledgeable at least to some degree about the characteristics, and those things, or what the Orisha likes and what they don't like, and that just their whole basic makeup. So you understand, taboos
are important.
So you understand how to function with them properly. It's just like, if you got your grandma, you know what she like and she don't like, and it's important to know that.
Grandma, you know what I'm saying? You, though.
Yeah,
grandma gonna say, "Get that."
You gonna learn, what she like and don't like, right. And it's just like, if you have an important visitor at your house, you don't want to just do something that they not gonna like. So you have to learn about that individual. You have to learn about the Orisha. Try to learn a song, try to learn an Oriki or a short chant. Just understand that energy.
The information on those Orisha are in the prayers, are in the Ewure,
I say,
and the Itan, the stories of those
the
things would tell you about that Orisha. It would tell you, read it and then read the translation, if there's a translation, or ask your teacher and they'll let you know, what that verse is saying, because it's or that Ewure is saying about that Orisha.
Benny.
Like, it's right there in the prayer. Whatever prayer you use into whatever Orisha. If you go into Ajay and you're doing a particular prayer to Ajay, read that translation, because it tells you about the Orisha. It's right there.
I say. Yeah, definitely.
That's how you learn. And the verses, the poetry, all of those things, the information of that Orisha is right there.
That's how you learn about the energy, and that's how you interact with them. You want to invoke them. You want to make them happy so that they can take that same energy and turn around and bless you with it by singing a song, by saying an Oriki, by saying a certain prayer or whatever. That's how you learn more and develop a relationship with that Orisha. Them. Of course, you feeding them and everything that they like to eat too, because you got to break bread, right? And
you bigging them up when you do the Oriki. It's like you saying you the best at this and you the best at that, and they like yes.
I say
yes. Keep saying it. And every time you keep saying it, it's like that Orisha comes, right? Because you bigging that Orisha up. You saying all of the best things about them. And then they start saying, okay, I'm going to come over clip so I can hear. Let me hear some more.
You got my attention.
You got my attention. I'm coming. Let me hear more. Let me hear more. Let me hear more. And then that's how that Orisha come.
Benny.
And they're present. Benny. Because you saying all of these Orikis and you saying it in a tone. And with some intensity. And hear that energy go.
Yeah, even if your Yoruba isn't that good or whatever.
I remember one time we was couple of times we were drumming for a batala, and the lights were on in the place, and we drumming for a batala, and all the lights set. We just chanting, all the lights cut out, just cut straight out. You know what I mean? It's like those types of phenomenal things kind of happen when you know. And that's how you know
be stuff happening.
Is around when you drumming, playing that bell, that shekere, and they singing.
It's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of energy. Yeah. You going that Orisha is gonna come because you saying his praises. You singing his praises over and over. It's bound to happen.
feeding the Orisha what they like to take, what they like to eat, of course. Because when you meet somebody, that's the first thing you usually do is break bread or let's go out to dinner or lunch or whatever, right? Whatever it is. That's the relationship with humans. It's the same relationship with the spirits, right? So, because at first you might just meet a person, it might be a little awkward. You may not, you're trying to feel them out. You don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. But over time, you get comfortable with your Orisha, with your ancestors. You can go in there and you talk to them and you tell them after you open up and you give thanks and you say your prayers, now it's time to have a conversation. My daughter, she messing up in school. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do with her. She get on my nerves. I need y'all to help out.
Guidance? Can you
all
help
of that.
Guide her?
This manager at my job tripping. She boom boom. I need you to move them out the way or put me in or get me a better job or whatever it is that you're doing or looking for or having an issue with or your project or a new job, business, whatever it is. You got to talk to them like that. You got to say it in your prayers.
And you talk to them sometimes like if they were in physical form.
You do.
Your ancestors, especially your ancestors.
Yeah,
it's like
you got to feel it.
You know, you got to feel it.
You got to feel it.
Talk like if they were present.
Yeah.
And especially if it's an ancestor that you knew,
especially if
when
it's
they was
ancestors.
on this side.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then you talk to them like you was talking to them when they were on this physical plane.
I say.
And they're gonna hear you.
I say.
It works.
So the next thing I want to talk about in this vein is OB divination. It's very important and very powerful way to build a relationship or establish that relationship with your Egun or with your Orisha. So how so? So once you learn basic OB divination, you always start out with, have my offerings and my prayers been accepted, right? And you divine. So you will start to get messages just through that simple communication with the energy. Let's just say they say no, they don't accept. Okay, and then you start asking why, and you get to that. Sometimes they have messages for us or our children or our spouse, or they might tell you to change up something or to add something to what you're doing or delete something for what you're doing. So once you start communicating like that, and then you go make the adjustment, and then you see the changes that happen in your life, and then when you go back into your shrine, and then you are constantly having that communication and then the life experience, and then things happen, and then that communication, it's like a real dialogue between you and these energies. So now it's like a living, breathing thing. That's going on.
You gotta know what the OB are really saying.
Benny.
You gotta know how to read the OB.
Benny.
You gotta know what is Iwa. That's character. Ita Iwa. That's character. Right? So the Orisha may be telling you to improve on your character. They may be saying your character is balanced. They may be saying your character is off. But when it comes, improve on your character.
And you can ask.
That's the agent of your success.
I say.
Would be Iwa, your character.
And you wanna ask, ask them.
Ask them.
Is it some type of behavior or something that I'm doing that I need to stop? It could be a habit. Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, just think about, doesn't have to be in the strict sense of having good character. It could be a habit that you might need to stop. They might be trying to communicate to you. And then, okay, once you get that confirmation and you stop it, and then you see the blessings come from it, and it's like, oh, okay, this worked. That's the relationship.
Right.
They told me something. I listened to it. Now I see the difference in my life. And then when I come back to them, now I don't get that same answer. They don't bother me about that anymore. Right.
When you get alafia, that's peace, right? Are you at peace, Orisha? Are you saying I need to work on having peace in my household, peace within myself, peace amongst my family, peace amongst my associates? Like, go in a little deeper. You can go in a little deeper to get a clearer understanding. Because it's almost like investigation. Yeah. You just alafia. Okay, it's peace. Okay, and then your mind might be saying, I need to look a little deeper
and ask about something.
Ask what type of peace. What do I need peace? Is it in me, my household, my family, or whatever? You need to kind of know, especially when you cast into the ancestors. You know, you want to know, do I need to work on the peace within my family?
Benny.
Because we know family, we have issues in family. You know,
use your intuition.
Use your intuition, because it'll come. The more you form that pact with ancestors or Orishas, then, you know, that's how you know you establishing a relationship, because then your intuition becomes a little stronger.
Benny.
You know, and you're like, okay, why am I? So let me ask our Batala, you know, what type of peace do I need? You know, you got to kind of see, and then you just, when the Orisha tell you, then you just do as they said.
Benny.
You know, it makes your life more comfortable.
I say, another way to establish that relationship with your shrine, with your ancestors, with Orisha, whatever it is to make sure that you go back over and that you understand your Ita that you received with that Orisha, or when you received whatever pot, your ancestors, whatever the reading was, or whatever. Make sure you're following the taboos, the taboos. Make sure you're following the spiritual advice, guidance, and instructions from your Ita or from whatever reading you had, because that's the whole purpose of it, is to make you a better person and to align you with this energy that you just received.
The Ita. Yes, and a lot of the
know your Odu.
Yeah, because your Ita focuses a lot, or it should focus a lot on your taboos, because those are the important things that come out of a Ita. Is the taboo, because your taboos, the taboos help you to live long, because everybody want to live long.
I say.
That's the first thing we say. Ire aiku. You know what I mean? Blessings of long life.
I say.
So follow your taboo so that you can have long life.
I say.
Read your Itas. My yeye used to remind me of my Itas when I was younger all the time. You know you can't eat that, and I'm like, man.
Yeah.
I almost got away with it. You know, like all
didn't.
of those things.
That's what you think.
You know you can't gamble. You know you can't do this. You know, I'm like, wow. Like those things, those taboos are very important. They're very important.
That's part of establishing a relationship with whatever energy that you're dealing with.
Sure.
You know, it's the manual, it's the handbook that comes with that Orisha or your ancestor, whatever pot or whatever initiation you received or whatever you got, is your manual for you and that energy. That's your manual.
Yeah.
You got to know the manual.
Understand that, because a lot of times, I just need to get some, I just received, Yemanja, can you recommend a good book? Yes, your Ita.
That's the first book.
That's the first book. Is your own Ita. Go over and over and over your Ita.
Benny.
To remind you of the things that you don't supposed to do and the things that you can do.
Benny.
And your blessings that are to come to you by doing what that particular Orisha you just received said.
I say.
That's important.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to touch on that?
With Orisha, forming a better relationship with your Orisha is, because cleanliness, you know, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Keep your Orisha shrines clean. That's very, very important.
You don't want a nasty shrine.
When rituals are done, clean. Clean your Orisha and clean the area.
Yeah.
That is important.
If they need to feed, if you're using, if you did a sacrifice and there's EJ blood involved, let them feed on that. But you can still clean it up and make it neat let them feed on it, but clean it up. Just,
and
be clean.
And clean the area where it was done.
Right.
That's important because remember, the earth itself is an Orisha. It's Irumale.
I say.
But it's an energy that has to be respected greatly. So when you leave trash or just stuff all over the place from the ritual, you're not respecting Onile.
I say.
So everything that you done for that Orisha, it can be blocked.
Yeah.
Because you did not clean up the environment after you finished the ritual.
I say.
That's very important. Clean your shrines. Make sure your shrine is clean. Make sure the Orishas are clean.
Benny.
Fresh water. All of those things is part of establishing a good relationship with your ancestors or your Orisha.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we just want to touch on something again real quick that we mentioned earlier, that the importance of it cannot be overstated. Your character, your intentions, and your thinking, that affects whether or not you have a good relationship with your Orisha or not, because all those things will block that relationship. We all know people that got a house full of pots, house full of Orisha. They got all the Orisha. They probably initiated maybe half of them, maybe half they just received.
Probably initiated all 400 of them.
Listen, they probably don't know how to spell them all. They don't have a relationship with them all. They don't take care of them. They're not connected to their Orisha at all. For them, it's like a competition to see who can collect the most pots, who has the most power, who got the most Orisha, and that's not what it's about.
I think it's more of a power thing.
It's an ego and it's a power thing.
People who do that, people who do that, I think is because you see them brag about it.
Yeah,
and I say that
don't
because
have a relationship with none of them.
Right, I say that because I've came across through my journey in this. I was born into this. I done came across all kind of people in Orisha, and those types are, they brag about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, but you bragging about how many initiations you have and how many
Orisha
pots you got, but your health ain't the greatest.
Your life ain't the greatest.
Your life
because you don't have. You got Yemanjai back here. She ain't been fed or dead. Nobody's been to her in 3 years.
You got to appease to.
You know what I'm saying?
A whole bunch of Orisha. It's like you got a whole bunch of babies.
Yeah,
you got to take care of them all.
You got to do something. I mean, you got to do something. You got to at least do your annual thing or a monthly thing. You got to have some type of consistency, because otherwise, why did you do it? Why did you get it? Because you like to collect Orisha and pots.
You want power.
Like that,
You want the power.
Perceived power.
And we are all servants here.
You'd be better off with one Orisha or just even your Gungun, and just learning it and just being tight with that and just really having that relationship and having that two-way communication. You'd be better off just with one.
Yeah, I would say that the major Orishas that you should have is, and some people don't have to get this unless it come up in divination, but Ori, your ancestors.
Oh yeah, that's a must.
And your IFA.
Yeah.
And IFA.
Yeah.
Everything else is, if you need to go to, if I always tell people, you don't have to, let IFA let you know what you need. Don't come saying, I need to get Obatala. Because it's not Obatala, it's Abatala. So, if you don't need that Orisha, don't say, well, I need to get Obatala.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
You don't know what you need.
Did IFA say that?
Right. Or somebody.
Well, no, but my boy got it, so no,
can't do that.
No.
You're just going to be wasting money and time.
No.
And that's not what we're here to do.
Let the divination guide you.
I say.
Because you may not need all of that.
You may not need it.
So.
Ashe.
Ashe.
So I hope y'all found that helpful. Some good practical tips on how to establish a relationship with your ancestors and your Orishas.
Ashe.
We have a couple of announcements we want to make before we wrap up this podcast. We have launched the merchandise. Please go and support.
Yes,
you
please.
can find the merchandise at LetsTalkIFA.com.
Yes,
we got all type of stuff, hats, and dog tags, and t-shirts, and hoodies, and
it's nice. You got
all
some
type
workout
of stuff
on there for those who like to work out. You got some workout shirts.
Yes.
You know, I'll be getting some of those myself. But, you know, the apparel, Let's Talk IFA apparel. It has launched.
Yes. We are here. LetsTalkIFA.com. Go and grab you a t-shirt or something to show your hat. Show your support and your love. We appreciate everybody as we are gonna grow.
We even got
this podcast. We got baby. We got onesies and everything.
We got onesies.
You know, we're gonna keep growing so we can keep serving the community and doing what we need to do. What else? We got other announcements.
We have the Iemoja Festival this weekend. And
what's the date?
The date is the 29th. To the 30th.
June 29th.
To the 31st.
30th and 31st. And then the week after, we have the IFA Festival. It's also Ajay and King's Day will be celebrated on July 5th and 6th. Is that right?
5th to the 7th.
The 5th to the 7th. Yeah. The main days being the 6th and the 7th. The Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
We have... my brother here, Ifa Tegunshe, hit him up. He has soaps and all type of crochet.
We also
for sale for the people.
We also have these beautiful bracelets by one of our youth. Shango bracelets with the Edunara there. And these are consecrated. You can pick up those as well.
And soon we will be doing an episode on financial literacy, generational wealth, not spoiling our inheritance, creating an inheritance for our children and our children's children. So we'll be touching on some business topics. But for now, we're going to sign out. We hope you enjoyed. We pray for everybody, long life, peace, prosperity, and all Ire. I am Ifa Jamini Ray.
I am Ifa Tegunshe.
And this is another episode of Let's Talk IFA. The greatest podcast
on the planet.
Ashewa.
Ashewa.
Odabo for now, everybody. Peace and blessings, y'all. Ireo.
Ireo.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.